Hello, everyone. My name's Lei. I'm currently working at City University of Hong Kong. I'm the first author and one of the two corresponding author of the paper, A Game of Love for Women, Social Support in Otome Game, Mr. Love, Queen's Choice in China. My other authors are Tang from University of Washington, Qinyuan from Hong Kong Polytechnic University, Zhou from University of Wisconsin-Madison, Guo Jingyi from Pennsylvania State University, and Tang Zilu from Southern University of Science and Technology. As you can see in the share screen, this is our paper. So our paper is titled A Game of Love for Women, Social Support in Otome Game, Mr. Love, Queen's Choice in China. Mr. Love, Queen's Choice is the English translation of the Otome game. First of all, I'll give some introduction about the background of our study. Otome games are also known as romantic video games or RVGs, and they're dating simulation games. This is a genre of video games originally started in Japan, and they're primarily designed for young women so that they can have real life romantic experiences in the game. And the game usually have a storyline. The player can follow the storyline and they will adopt the perspective of the female avatar, and then they can choose to date one of all 4 or 5 of the virtual male characters in the game. So the game that we study is called Mr. Love, Queen's Choice. It was developed and released in 2017 by Paper Games. Paper Games is a video game company based in Suzhou, Jiangsu province in China. It is one of the earliest and most popular Otome games in China, which is why we choose to study it, as it is very representative of this whole phenomenon of young female players in China playing Otome games. And we specifically focus on this community of players on Weibo super topic. Weibo is one of the most popular social media sites in China, and super topic is a special function on Weibo. It's comparable to forum and allows its users to gather and form online communities based on a shared interest or topic. And in this case, all the players who gather on super topic of Mr. Love are players of Mr. Love. This is one of the biggest community and most active community of Mr. Love's players, which is why we decided to focus our data collection and our analysis on this Weibo super topic. So we have 2 research questions. Our first research questions is, do the players of the Chinese Otome game Mr. Love exchange social support in the game and in their online community? Our second question is, if they do exchange social support, what are different types of social support and how do these various types of social support manifest among the players? So these are our 2 research questions. We have 2 main methods. Our main method is qualitative methods and ethnographic methods. So first of all, 2 of our researchers focused on 4 months of participant observation as our first way of collecting our qualitative data. And then to follow up, we conducted 12 semi-structured interviews to discuss the details and ask a lot of questions to our players. We try to have a more balanced gender ratio in our semi-structured interview. However, because the game is mostly targeted young female players in China, we were only able to recruit 11 female players and 1 male player for our semi-structured interviews. And second of all, we also have collected quantitative data, which is all the posts from the first 100,000 pages of this Weibo super topic. And this limit is set by the Weibo API. And this is the quantitative that we collected, even though we mostly focus on the qualitative data, and we use the quantitative data to have some preliminary understanding of the makeup of the whole community, what kind of accounts this community have. And we discovered that the majority of these accounts are actually commercial accounts, and quite a few of the active accounts are creative accounts. So to do our analysis, we decided to use House and Barrera's theory of social support. They have categorized 4 types of social support. The first one is emotional support. The second one is instrumental support. The fourth one is informational support. And the last one is esteem support. And we follow these 4 types of social support to analyze our data, to discover and examine whether these 4 types of social support are present in the online community of Mr. Love. So our findings are that we have actually discovered that even though the game was initially designed to be a consumer product, but it actually eventually grows into an online gaming community, mostly of female players, and they actively exchange emotional support, informational support, instrumental support, and esteem support. I will not go into the details of all these 4 kinds of support in the game. But if you're interested, please feel free to read our paper. We have shared a lot of very interesting quotes and data and references from our interviews, as well as our participant observation data. And we also realized that the context, the social context that female players in China specifically, their struggle against gender equality actually adds another layer of complexity to the social meanings of the game. There are a group of gamers that are very marginalized in the Chinese society. First of all, because of the stigma of game and gamers. And second of all, female gamers are also a little bit less respected than male gamers in the gaming communities in China. And this aspect of feminist struggle in gameplay is also complicated by the fact that the gaming company actually wants to reinforce heteronormativity and gender stereotypes through this Otome game, Mr. Love. For instance, all the male characters are very typical stereotypes of attractive male in the Chinese society. And there's also very, very little choice in the storyline that allows for non-heteronormative dating experience in the Otome game. We find that this is a very important limitation of the game and also of this whole gaming community. Also, very interestingly, when we're doing participant observation and also through our interview, we discovered that a lot of the female gamers in this community, they started to develop this sort of dislike and negative emotions against male gamers who are also playing this game. And this is an aspect of the study that we find really, really interesting. And we discuss this aspect very extensively in our discussion section. So we have come up with 3 different recommendations just from our study of this Otome game to designers and gaming companies who are interested in designing games and specifically Otome games. So we recommend that when the companies and designers are designing Otome games, they should consider designing more diverse male characters outside of existing stereotypes and gender norms in the society. We also recommend that designers should consider providing players with options of non-heteronormative storylines so that LGBTQ players are not excluded in the gameplay. And currently, LGBTQ players are not only excluded in the gameplay because of the lack of storyline, but also excluded in the online community, even though the community functions very well for female players as some kind of home and a safe space for them to share emotional support, esteem support, instrumental support, and informational support with one another. However, unfortunately, we found out that male players and LGBTQ players are very much excluded from this kind of very constructive exchange. And finally, we recommend that designers should design the storyline in a way that encourages the players to become aware and reflective of the gender stereotypes in the society and their own gender experiences in their daily life. We also discussed this very extensively in the discussion section if you're interested in reading our paper. That's all. Thank you very much. I look forward to really interesting discussions in the future if we run into each other in the conference. Thank you very much.